My hair is messed up, I'm getting a zit on my nose, and yet I don't care, because I was never good in faking excitement, and I'm definitely not trying to do this today, because when I'm going to review the Steelseries.Arctis 7, I gotta say one thing up front. It is not a bad product, but it just leaves me completely cold. It is kind of a boring one, maybe on a good level, but you will see throughout the review what I actually mean. But I know a lot of people won't like it, but this is just my honest opinion, and it is an audio product, something very subjective, so either accept my opinion or not, but this is what I'm going to say about it. So let's start off with the overview. The first thing that I have to point out, which is absolutely great, how versatile this headphone is, because you can see you get this dongle along with it that also has line in and line out, which is already very flexible. This is also, by the way, the wireless dongle. Then you get an also extra cable that you can plug into the headphone and then use it with anything like an MP3 player or a smartphone like that. So you can use it wired, wireless, no matter how you want it. And if you check all the ports and so on here, you can mute the microphone. You have a volume knob, which is nice and it's not too loose. You have the port here for this extra cable. You have already directly a 3.5mm cable in case you want to use that. Then you have the port for the charging. The microphone is fully retractable and nicely adjustable. On the right side, you can change between those two modes for game and chat. Very, very customizable, very versatile. The headphones themselves, I gotta say, they look absolutely okay, no problems with that at all. And the headband, even though it has no sort of cushioning, is absolutely no problem because we have this headband and this will kind of take the weight off your head, which is absolutely okay. Then we have the ear cups, and what I have to say here, at first they feel super crazy comfortable because they're extremely soft, extremely nice, but they aren't really all that thick, and after a while my ears start to touch, at least on the right side. So if you have ears that usually tend to touch on some headphones, you will maybe notice this. Not the case on every headphone for me, but on some. Otherwise, in terms of build quality, very, very sturdy feel due to the metal feel. The plastic also seems nice, a little bit of matte. You can fully rotate them here if you want to use them, for example, like this. That's comfortable, even though it's a little bit too tight for me. But let's get to the actual comfort here. And like I said, at first they are super comfortable, and I wanted to say these are the most comfortable ones. But like I said, due to the ear cups being so soft, after a while they will just push in a little bit, even though the clamping force is not hard at all. But my ears started to touch, which was at first a little bit annoying, and after a while it actually started to hurt just a little bit. But once again, if you have this issue on other headphones, you might have this. If you never had it, I don't think you will. And otherwise, like I said, as you can see here, the headband doesn't really touch. You can adjust that on your own, and they always sit very nice, very comfortable. And I actually have to say the sit is very secure, so I absolutely like that. It's just not perfect for me, but there is actually a second optional pair of cushions. I think it's velour. Those could be a little bit stiffer, and then they could actually improve that. When it comes to the noise isolation, everything I hear is muffled, so it's quite okay. The outside world also wouldn't hear you so much. That's it all about I have to say about that. Now let's check the microphone here for a second and let me tell you what I think of it.
This would be the microphone test of the Arctis Steelseries 7 wireless gaming headset. The first nice thing to say about the microphone would be that it is fully retractable, but also adjustable depending on where you want it. Otherwise, in terms of sound quality, there is some nice body to it and it sounds mostly clean, but I also have to point out a few flaws because it sounds also a little bit muffled, and especially the noise cancellation makes some weird noises which you will hear now in a few seconds, then followed by keyboard sounds with Cherry MX Blue switches and the mouse.
So this was the microphone. All I can say is it's actually quite okay. It's not amazing and it has a few flaws, but it should get the general job done. In terms of software, let's check that quickly before I'm going into anything else when it comes to the sound, because here you can see you don't have too many options, but the most common ones are here. For example, DTS headphones, you can enable that for the 7.1 surround sound. You have some presets. You have the equalizer, which I would definitely use, but I will get to that. Some other presets here. You can turn on and turn off compression, have a live microphone preview, and you can adjust a few more things. But all of that is not really all that interesting, because now I want to get already into the sound. And as always, I will start with gaming. I gotta say, The soundstage is not really big, and it sounds a little bit like you would sit in a lot of front of a curtain, because everything sounds a little bit isolated. I gotta say though, locating enemies, so footsteps and so, actually works quite nice, because I could actually quite nicely get where they are. Didn't really need a 7.1 surround sound for that, because it was actually better without, and I'm still not a fan of 7.1 surround sound, because especially in this case it sounds just weird. You get some weird echo, everything sounds far away, it just sounds off. If you are someone who prefers that and wants it, give it a try, but this so far was one of the weirder 7.1 surround sounds. Overall sound though, actually quite a nice bass, so the dynamic was okay, even though I would wish for a little bit more, because everything feels like it's kinda on the same level, and that's why I have a little bit of a problem with this headphone, that it just sounds a little bit boring. Like I said, action can be felt. And it is a nice all-round that doesn't really particularly exceed in anything, because I'm still missing out a few details and some other things, like some minor things that just seem to be missing compared to other headphones, and the bass just misses a little bit of punch. It is there, it's kind of more of a boomy, very soft, slightly even muddy bass. So that also didn't quite impress me. And when we are talking about the sound now when it comes to music, this is where I was even more so bored in some way, because first of all, with the preset set to flat, it sounded just wrong, because not really many mids, and the highs just way too early cut off. Once those are boosted, everything opens a little bit, things sound a little bit clearer, but still, I'm missing the dynamic. The bass wasn't like tight and punchy, the highs weren't clear, and the vocals also were a little bit kind of like behind the curtain. So I'm complaining here on a little bit of a higher level, I have to say, but I've used a lot more headsets by now, and even the other wireless ones just sounded way more open. These just sound boring. They get the job done actually way better for gaming than for music. And if you are someone who wants a wireless gaming headset for gaming, at first I said on a few comments when people asked me, I can recommend them because they are super comfortable, they are super versatile. A little bit more volume would have been nice. But in the end, and this is where my conclusion will go to when I'm going to the pros and cons right now. Super versatile, very flexible to use with all the other sorts. The microphone is okay, and it is retractable. Software is okay, it's capable, even though everything, if you adjust things, gets delayed. Comfort, like I said, great, very good fit and comfort, but it kinda just doesn't exceed or just doesn't deliver the sound that I wanted to, because this, in my opinion, is at the end still the most important part, and here it slightly disappoints because it is just generally a little bit on the boring side, which disappointed me. If you adjust maybe the equalizer properly and you are okay with the sound, and this is why I would actually say I'm not gonna recommend them, but what I should say, you check them in the store. Please make sure you can somewhere try to get the overall feeling of the sounding, because I've tried a few of my other headphones and they just sound so much more open and the clarity is just missing. I'm not saying they are bad, because for gaming, and especially if you want wireless, actually not that bad. The price, I would say, mostly still okay, and the battery life was also on the very good side. I simply still have a hard time recommending it. I still have to find a proper headset, wireless, that will still kinda impress me. So far it didn't happen, and I'm not quite sure if this is worth the money for a wireless headset. I would still go wired, and I don't need the still gimmicky 7.1 surround sound. So I know this review was way too harsh, and I've said it already, very subjective and so on, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you will actually like these. But maybe my standards are too high, I don't even know why, but this just didn't do it for me. And like I said, I can't try to fake the excitement, and I won't. This would have been it. I hope you liked it. Otherwise, thumbs up and so on. And you know the drill. Until next time, bye.